Okay, guys, welcome to the first of my video interviews here at musomuso.co.uk. We're going to be chatting to bands and artists as we go through, and primarily during the lockdown period as well, while we can't get out and do face-to-face interviews with the artists themselves. Today, I'm joined by three of the members of a London-based indie quartet called The Curious. Gentlemen, how are we?
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Good so far.
You're good. Yeah. How are you coping during these very trying times then of sort of lockdown and self-isolation or whatever you want to call it? You're managing okay?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely when it comes to practice and meeting up, we're suffering. When it comes to that, because we had a lot of new material that we're working on and stuff like that, but it's just really hard at the minute just because the virus.
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
Put a spanner in the works for like a lot of the live stuff and stuff like that. But we got stuff in the pipeline which we can do not in person. So
yeah. Whereabouts are you all? Are you all in London, like the city centre, or on the outskirts, or what's your location?
London. Oh no, actually, Alex.
I'm in Cambridge.
Right.
I live in Cambridge.
Okay. So it's not as if you can just all get together. Well, we can't really get together at all at the moment.
Well, we couldn't anyway now, but
yeah, exactly.
Oh well, it's not too far. It's manageable when there's trains and people can get out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think people just have to do the best they can.
Anytime soon.
Yeah. Are you from London, Steve?
No, I spent some time in London a couple of years ago. I lived down in the West Country, so I actually live not far from Totnes in Devon, near Plymouth, between Exeter and Plymouth, basically.
Oh,
no, which isn't too bad. It's quite a nice part of the world and nice part to be locked down in, basically. But yeah, we're still struggling, basically, trying to get around. Obviously, concerts, festivals, all gone. I don't know when they're going to be back, and it's we're all struggling, basically. So I really do feel for bands and musicians around the country that are feeling the pinch. And hopefully do the best we can and get on from there. But yeah. So we're here to talk about, well, anything in general, really. I've got a bunch of questions I've pulled together. Thanks very much for sending over your material earlier on, Sam. That's really kind of you. So I wanted to talk about, obviously, you formed back in 2014 and you've had a few lineup changes over the years. When did the current lineup actually get together? When was the first time you were all sort of together as a four?
I think it was the end of 2018.
Yeah, I think it was about November, December 2018.
Okay.
So
yeah, late 2018 and then whole of 2019 together, and to this day. So
yeah, excellent. Okay. Do you remember what the first track was that you all played together as a band, that you first sort of get together?
There was this one demo that we made, and basically there's two versions at the minute. Alex feels really strongly about this one version, and then Jay, the guitarist, he likes this other version. So we're kind of in like an open road as to
it's
which
a bit difficult to decide.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Was that the first one? I'm sure it was.
I think we jammed that song, but it was really rough at the time. And then we played one of the old ones, like She Said, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, excellent stuff. Good stuff. So, influences. I've looked on your Facebook page and your press kit that you sent me through. A very varied list of bands and artists on there. Do you all sort of come from the same camp when it comes to influences, or do you all tend to bring something different to the table, would you say?
I would say different. We have a bit different influences, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm kind of based around...
I think we all come from very different places.
I like a lot of the sort of bands late 80s, and I had a lot of different influences, but there's a lot of new artists coming up, obviously, but that was kind of what inspired me, music from back in the day. So that's kind of what I grew up
You say back in the day there, Dominic. I mean, that sounds like my stomping ground, sort of late 80s, early 90s, sort of indie guitar rock and stuff like that. So what sort of bands from that era were you into then?
Oh,
what are you into?
Just loads. All of them, all the big names.
Give us one.
The Smith, the Cure, the Killers, U2, just there's too many. Depeche Mode,
right?
What's the other band? Kiss of Love by what was that band called? I can't remember the name. But
I'll have to Google that. Is the track called Kiss of Love? Was it?
Yeah, Kiss of Love. Oh man, there's just there's too many. A lot of the new romantic era as well. That kind of like era of new romantic.
Yeah, that's sort of going back sort of early 80s, so sort of post-punk sort of early 80s, and then new romantics came about 83, 84. So wow, that's
that's kind of what started me off.
Yeah, I was 12 years old then, having a dance in the school disco, as you do. Bag full of chocolate dormice and a cream soda. Yeah, there we are. So, what about songwriting process then, guys? Do you have a key songwriter in the band? Does one of you write the words, one of you does the guitar melodies and things, or how does all that come together?
We normally just one of us will come. This is what makes us quite different to a lot of people that I don't know. Within the music industry, normally they have like one prime sort of writer. But we normally just do it in like someone will come to the studio with an idea, either Sam or me or Alex or Jay, and then it will be like one little idea. It might even be a synth, a little synth idea, and then from that we can turn it into something, turn it into a song. So like Sam would put the drums on it, Alex would put the bass on it, Jay would put the guitar on it, and then I would write lyrics to it. So that's kind of like how we do it, yeah. So
it's very much a 4-part process then. It's not just one person saying this is how it's going to sound, this is what the bass line is going to be like. You all sort of input equally then. Yeah, that's good.
There are times where someone will have a song that they've been working on, where they've kind of got the whole structure, set up for a song, but then we would still kind of like change it and manipulate it a little bit. But
it needs to be approved by the 4 of us. No, it's
definitely like a 4-way kind of.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And here's might sound a funny question, but when do you know when a track is done? When is it finished?
It's a hard one.
When the time is up.
Yeah, when the studio boots you out for no more credit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, is that the case of, you could tweak, I suppose, if you're self-producing or you're in the studio and time isn't of the essence, basically, you could spend forever tweaking and fine-tuning and things like that, but there's got to come a time when you say, right, draw the line, that's it, no more, that kind of thing.
I think with where everyone's got like a laptop now and it's so easy to make music on your laptops and stuff, that's part of the problem, like knowing when to
stop.
When to stop. Yeah, but indeed.
From like the stuff we've put out so far, we've kind of like finalized stuff to that point, and found the end track.
Yeah. So you all agree again, the 4-part process, basically thinking when the track's finished and you're all happy with it and it's ready to go, basically. Yeah. Cool.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. We definitely won't put it out unless we're all happy with it, for sure.
Yeah, well, obviously not. No, that's right. But I'd say, I didn't know if it was one person who sort of decides and makes all the calls and things, but it is good that you are working together, basically. I mean, you see a lot of bands where that can cause a lot of friction. The guitarist and the singer are often the people who write the music, and then the other two just sort of do as they're told, and they're backing musicians, session musicians, in that sort of process. So it sounds like you're a very cohesive, close-knit unit that all sort of bring ideas to the table, so that's really refreshing. So great stuff. Now I was looking on your released singles so far. Now in 2020 alone you put 3 out. I think you've got If She Only Knew, and I believe on the Facebook page you put that it just hit the 10,000 streams on Spotify, Mark. I checked earlier, actually on 10,892, so rock on. It's doing really well, so really good stuff on that. that was released in January. You also released a track called Can't Help It in February, and My Only in March, which is your latest single, and obviously you got the video to accompany that, which I was checking out earlier as well. That's really cool. Is this all leading up to like an album or a new EP, or what's your plans with regard to music going forward?
I think we enjoy putting out singles at the minute. I don't know why, but we would love to make an album together, and I think that's something we're potentially going to do at some point. But at the minute, I think we enjoy putting out little EPs, you know, with a video or just little, a little single. So definitely like singles. We I don't know. It's just each song has a kind of different story to tell, and it's like it's a lot different to you know, the last song we put up or something like that. I think the process of an album is something we want to do, and I think it will occur soon, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Are you finding that you're building your fan base sort of slowly but surely doing the single releases? Is that a good way of doing it, you think?
Yeah, it's working really well.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. And how many, have you got a strong following in London? Obviously, London's a bit of a melting pot for bands and music and venues normally, obviously, when they're all bloody closed and no bands are playing. But I was going to ask you, you know, what do you do to stand out from other bands and artists? Because there's millions of bands in London alone, you know, so what's different about The Curious? How are you guys standing out from the others?
I'd definitely say the scene in the UK at the minute is like quite dead, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good bands that have come from the UK, and there will always be good bands coming from the UK, from London. But I think generally just the scene is quite dead at the minute because of the direction that music's going in. It's changing direction all the time. I do see it coming back around, the kind of indie rock and roll or just bands in general coming back into the scene. And man, like, you know, we do gigs and we've sold out gigs and stuff like that. And
I saw that.
We kind of like agreed amongst each other to kind of stop doing the toilet circuit of constant pubs and stuff like that. You know? So we got out of that rut, and man, we you know, we're trying to do a lot more gigs, especially out of London in general, just around the UK, you know. So like, I hope we actually had a tour kind of booked in for Scotland, but hopefully it will go through just because of this coronavirus.
I think everything's sort of been spanner in the works really for everything, really, live music wise and things, isn't it?
Definitely the thing that would stand us out to other bands is probably just the live performance in general.
Well, I would say that Dom plays a good part in that. Like when it comes to fronting the band. Like, he knows how to put on a show. Like, he will jump around, dance around, backflip off stage.
Wow.
He's a secret weapon.
It sounds a bit like me in the photo pic with my camera, sort of doing backflips. So you just can't stop me all night long.
And to back that up, I'd say our sound. Like, I think we found a good mix between actual instruments and backing track. Which, when we actually started playing back some pubs and stuff, it sounds weird. Like we feel like we don't fit in. Our sound doesn't fit. So I think that's it. The sound and the Dom.
The Dom, absolutely. I think I picked that up earlier on. I mean, the music to me, it doesn't. I know exactly what you're saying there, Alexander. It's not the kind of music that you want to throw down your local boozer and sort of sit in the back of the bar seeing his band play. It's music that's more geared up towards arenas and larger venues that have got the capacity and the space to basically enjoy that. You know, it's what I call a stadium-sized sound. You know, that kind of really completes the rounded thing with the backing track and the live musicians as well. It certainly sounds a lot bigger than, you know, local pubs and toilet circuit venues that you mentioned earlier on. But we've all got to start somewhere, I say. But you know, hopefully now you've passed that and you're moving on to the bigger, better places and get on from there. So talking about shows then, obviously I didn't know if you had any booked, but I dare say they've all been postponed or cancelled. Are you planning any sort of live streams on Facebook, which seems to be the flavour of the month at the moment with the lockdown and things like that?
We were talking about doing some sort of live thing, whether it's like us playing or just like jumping on the live to talk to each other. We're not sure, but it's just like sort of making it possible, if you know what I mean, like playing and stuff like that. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it happen where there's been, a drummer sat in one room in their house, and then the bass and the guitar and the vocalist in another, and it just sounds seamless. And I'm thinking, this is just too good to be true. How the hell are they doing it? It just doesn't sound right at all. But I don't know, clever sequencing, I guess. But yeah,
I guess it's possible. It's just, I don't know, a lot of things need to work out the right way at the right time. But no, we were actually talking about it.
Yeah.
Today or yesterday.
Yeah.
Brainstorming.
Easy if you can all get in the one place together, but obviously we can't at the moment, so it makes it a little bit more challenging on that side as well. But okay, I want to talk briefly about support that you guys might have received over the the time we've been together. Have you ever been through sort of BBC introducing? Have you had any sort of radio play or anything like that? If so, tell me about it. Who have you had on backing you?
We had a couple local stations, like where me and Dom are sort of from, like Harrow way. A couple of stations, one in Harrow, one in a place called Watford.
That's where Harry Potter World is, isn't it, Watford?
Yeah.
Not far, I've been there once, but that was enough.
We've had some, with some of the newer tracks, there was one in Belgium recently.
Okay.
Which unfortunately I didn't get the chance to tune into it whilst it was live. I don't know about the other guy. But,
no, me neither.
Other than that, mainly, London-based ones. So far.
I think there were a few in America as well, but like not big radios, just local. Colleges.
Well, that's it. I mean, any airplay's airplay, isn't it?
Everything is welcome.
Exactly.
What about BBC? We're still waiting for that Radio 1 sort of like play, So.
I don't know if you're fit for Radio 1. I think more 6 Music. I think you want to aim your channels, channel it higher and see what you get through from there. But
we have to get on to Steve Lamacq.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I met Steve Lamacq a while ago, actually, down in Exeter, because they did, I think it was Independent Venue Week, and I went to see Frank Turner down in Exeter.
Yeah.
And Steve Lamacq was actually live in the bus interviewing Frank Turner and a couple of the support acts down there as well. Yeah. Had a good chat with him, actually, about bands, and Bristol seems to be the flavour of the month at the moment for new bands and things. And just telling him about the bands I'm into at the minute, and he was actually really listening. It's nice, quite refreshing to actually talk to someone of that stature and think that you're actually being listened to and heard, rather than just give him a card and he's just going to chuck it in the trash on the way out. So it's quite interesting. But all good stuff. What about BBC introducing? Have you sent any stuff into them guys yet locally, or?
Yeah, we have submitted the tracks to the London one. They've listened to them, so I don't know. I guess we're just waiting.
I met this guy at a festival who worked for BBC Introducing, and he said to me that, a lot of bands, regardless if they're great or, unheard of, or, there's so much music being sent to them every day. It's kind of like you have to directly get in touch with the main person to actually get a listen. So it's really difficult to get heard.
If you've got a CD or something that you can send them, I suppose the electronic files. I work with Sarah Gosling, who runs the Devon and Cornwall BBC Introducing, and the guy who did the show before her was a chap called James Santa, who's now producing up in London. He works with Hugh Stevens. I think he does some work on, what's she called? Dark Fringe, Strictly Come Dancing, Claudia Winkleman. That's she does the thing with Tess Daly, doesn't she? She does a show on a Sunday, like a culture show, arts and culture show. So he's quite switched on in there. So you want me to put your lead forward, basically, I don't mind giving you a plug and sending James an email directly and see if he can get it on the right desk in front of the right people. It might just elevate you and give you a little lift. I don't know. I can't promise anything.
That'd be great.
That'd be appreciated.
That's good. I was on your shop and your website earlier, and I really wanted to buy a T-shirt, but I couldn't because they're all sold out. What's going on?
We did them a couple years ago, just like the EP we made, the sort of the artwork for it. We put the sheep on the T-shirt and then put them up online for people to buy. So.
Right, so I didn't know if it's a teaser thing to sort of say, I really want a T-shirt, but I can't have one because there's none there. So.
I'll have to have a look in my loft, Steve.
Oh, you got 3 boxes full of it. Yeah,
I have to send you one.
Oh, please do. As I say, I'm regularly out at shows taking pictures and things. So I always, if I'm playing festivals, for example, I always get T-shirts thrown at me, because when I'm in the pit, I'm stood in front of sort of 30,000 people. It's quite nice, especially if you've got a back print. It's even better. People see that and they take a bit of notice on there, basically. Are you planning any more merch coming up then? I'm just thinking the times are hard these days. Is it good time to basically get some T-shirts and some, I don't know, CDs pressed or something like that and get them in the shop for sale? Might earn you a bit of money.
Well, we haven't like spoke about it in a while, have we? But could be something that we could do.
Yeah, we just keep that part for the time being, but we are planning to eventually. We will get everything done. It's not like we will never have a T-shirt on, but it's just finding the right distributors, right price, right quality.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Even figuring out what to print on it. Like, is it going to be the logo? Because now every single has a different picture.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's definitely something we could ask the fans, like kind of do a live. If we go live, we can ask them, if we start doing T-shirts again. What would you like to see on the
Yeah, would you want like a lyric on the back print or something? A logo on the front breast pocket as my little hoodie there, it's that kind of thing. But
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I only got it printed locally. It only cost me about £15. It's peanuts, really. But I'll say I know the overheads of doing the sort of T-shirt printing can be quite costly. So I suppose if you engage with the fans, get them to actually tell you what they want, you almost sort of got guaranteed pre-orders there and then. So good stuff. I want to ask you all, what's the first thing you're going to do when the lockdown is lifted, music venues are back open, bars are serving again? What's the first thing you're going to do? Are you going to go out and all-night bender, or are you going to take it easy? Or
it's going to be game over. We're going to be doing every gig we can do. Every gig we can do. We can release every song we can release, because we got a load of great bangers ready.
Nice. Okay.
We really want to release the people to see. And just in general, just doing live shows, because people keep saying, oh, it's going to last a couple of weeks, it's going to last a couple of months, and then 6 months, and it's like you just don't really know. And it's like the thought of us kind of not doing a gig for like say 6 months, or even being in the same room to practice or to make something, it's quite a scary thought. Don't you think?
Yeah, we were supposed to play our first gig of the year.
Literally.
Like 2 weeks ago.
I saw that planned. Yeah, where was that at? Was that the Water Rats? Was that?
No, that was the All Blue Last.
Sorry. Yes, you played the Water Rats. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Apologies.
Was that the Shoreditch one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And next week there would have been another one for Camden Rocks, which also.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's a nice one. I've been up there. I think I covered it about 3 years ago. So it's a nice festival. Actually, it's really good.
Yeah. So I guess, as soon as it all blows out, play a gig would be nice.
Yeah.
That will literally be the first gig of the year.
Just get back on it.
We cannot wait.
Good
and
stuff.
going back to the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Recording stuff that we left sort of halfway through.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, what I want to do now then, guys, is I want to go left to right. So starting off with Sam, I want you to tell me the name of 2 or 3 bands that you're into at the moment. That could be unsigned local bands, that could be major bands that you're into and you have liked for years and years, just so we can give our fans something to, get the teeth into, basically go and check out. So over to Sam, first of all, for his 2 or 3 choices.
Okay, I'm going to go with 21 Pilots. Every time someone asks me this, I have to pull up my phone to check who I've latest. Yeah.
What about local bands, Sam? Any local bands you're into? Anyone you tour with or play with regularly?
What about that band that the guys who came in your studio that time? Those boys. We went to see them live.
Orders, my friends Orders.
Okay, local band.
They're from London.
Okay.
Sort of indie sort of band. And Idols.
Idols.
Hey,
I had my Idols t-shirt on in the garden earlier. I was doing some gardening, and we're really tight with them boys. We managed to shoot them at the Alexandra Palace concert in December last year, which was
they're really
incredible.
Mate, you stole that from me. That's exactly what I was going to pick.
I got there.
That's the beauty of going first, you see, Sam. You get the shoes, and then everyone else is frantically thinking, and if you trump them, they can't go. So, on to Alexander next. Then, what are your 3 choices, Alexander?
Sorry, man.
It's always difficult. So I would say definitely Young the Giant. That's a band I've been listening to a lot in the past 3-4 years.
Okay.
Then probably something a bit more guitar rock bass. So probably Royal Blood. Plus, he's a magnificent bass player, and the stuff he does is just out of the blue. It's unbelievable. Like, third, what could it be? Go on, I'll go for Guns N' Roses.
Okay, yeah.
I grew up with Guns N' Roses.
You're a new band.
Yeah, he didn't say new band.
It doesn't matter. There could be any bands. It doesn't matter. Alexander, just show me that tattoo on your wrist. Is that a bass clef you got on your wrist? Oh,
it's a bass clef.
Okay.
A question mark.
I saw it earlier, and I could see that the bass clef was there, but I didn't see the little dot on the question mark.
We're all branded. We're all branded with that. By the way.
Are you? Wow.
Well, we all have a different one, but a question mark. Somewhat.
You all went down a tattoo parlor together, did you? And say, how much for 4 question marks? Do we get a bulk discount? Dominic, on to you for your choices then.
I'd say Pearl Waves. Pearl Waves, a good
Pearl
band.
Waves, yep, into them, yep.
Foals.
Yep, another big one.
Yeah. And what's that band called, Sam? Such a Magnificent Purpose.
Black Midi.
Black Midi. Yeah, they're great. I think they're really interesting sound. They're a good band.
Yeah, they're a bit of a fusion, aren't they? It's not just the one, it's the other style, quite hard, and electronic thrown in as well for good measure. So good stuff. Thanks for that, guys. So before we wrap up then, I just want to talk about future shows and events. I mean, it's very difficult to say we're going to be doing something in September or October because we just don't know how long this pandemic lockdown malarkey is going on for, basically. But if we got the all clear in, say, 2 or 3 months' time, have you got plans for later on in the year to be getting back out there on the road and playing local venues around London? Is that where people can expect to see you?
Well, yeah, Dominic said earlier we were planning to get out to Scotland. So not necessarily London at the minute, but we're trying to put together a small tour up there.
Sure.
We managed to get a couple dates down.
Yeah.
What was it?
The 18th and the 20th of June.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just all the main places in Scotland. But I think the main thing we're looking to forward to, that us three have been talking about, is potentially after this virus is done, go to America and start trying to establish a little thing out there.
Yeah,
because
sure.
It's a lot of our fan base has been coming from America at the minute. And I think that's why I want to get out there. A lot of people are getting a lot of lovely messages from everyone. Come down to Carolina, come down to loads of different places, and it's really nice to hear that, to know that you've got a bit of a fan base out there. So I think that's
sure.
And we've been looking at the plane tickets and stuff. It's
not too expensive. No.
Yeah, when you book it as well.
It's all right.
Probably cheaper now as well.
Dirt cheap at the moment, I think. But and I think as well, it's like British bands. I think if you can get across, get yourself established in the States and Canada. Radiohead did it in the early 90s, and that didn't do them any harm whatsoever. And a lot of bands, I mean, I look at Muse. I mean, I went to school with the Muse guys many moons ago in Teignmouth. That's where I grew up, basically. And watching them playing stadiums like Wembley, and then going out to America, and they're literally playing spit and sawdust bars with 100 people watching them. It was like, what's going on? This isn't right. Why are they doing that? And then they had I think it was a support slot supporting U2, and they played at the Yankee Stadium in New York, and that was the first slot they had, playing to about 70,000 people in the States. And it was just home from home for them, because in England they've been doing it for years, Britain, I should say. But over in the States, it was new territory. And I think that's what sort of broke them eventually, touring with
another great band coming up is Inhaler.
Not heard of them. No, not heard of them.
Eli, the singer Eli, is Bono's son, and I've met him a couple times.
Okay. What's Houston? What's his name, Matt?
Eli.
Eli's his name, is it? Okay. No, it's only you mentioned that because a friend of mine was talking about he went to some party somewhere and Bono's son was there, but he never mentioned he was in a band. So that sort of tallies now, basically. So what's Inhaler like then? What sort of music are they?
They've got a good sound. Inhaler got a good sound. I saw them like during the last festival season at a festival I was playing, and I was just talking to the boys backstage, and they were saying the exact same thing about how hard it is for bands nowadays. Kind of the industry changed so much, but bands like Inhaler and I think us and just a lot of other bands are kind of trying to push through this, the mainstream sound again and trying to bring back that, rock and roll vibe.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
It's also inspiring to see Inhaler just because I met Bono a couple times, and I really look up to that U2 a lot. I really look up to him a lot. I think that kind of like generation of music is like so different to how music is now. Like the fabric was different, the sound was different, and I think that's something that we're trying to pick up on that vibe of like why was it like that then and why is it like that now? We're trying to pick up on, and especially the sound in general of just trying to. That's why when Alex said we don't really enjoy playing those pubs and stuff, is the sound we have is quite big. It sounds really big, and it doesn't do any justice when you're in the venues. But when we've played big stages, like we played massive stages at a couple festivals, but the thing is like when you play those festivals, the stages, the sound on those stages is like we all look at each other and we all know.
Yeah, it just feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. That's how it's meant to sound. But I would definitely say our last EP we did, those songs were suitable for the gigs we were doing at the time.
Yeah.
The songs we have now, a bit different.
Yeah. I noticed that I did play a couple. I was on Spotify earlier on. It was obviously just streaming through the tracks one after the other, and there was a lot. It was a lot more sort of jangly guitar, a lot more sort of fierce guitar in the earlier tracks. Whereas these days it's more cinematic and more rounded and more. Yeah, just more rounded, I think, more complete, if you like. And I think that sort of bodes well for the bigger stages and the larger festivals and things like that. So, well, you're doing everything right, guys. I think, as I say, it's just a case of getting back out there and getting back on it. But who knows when that's going to be. So good luck to you, and hopefully it'll all go well in the future. So where can we find you on social media then? So you're on Spotify as the Curious. What about Facebook, Insta, Twitter, all the rest of them? Where can we find you?
You want to let us know all the social medias?
I think they're all the handles are the Curious Band, so you'll be able to find us if you type in that and all this stuff.
If you go into Google and type in the Curious Band, we have a panel, so it's got everything. It's got our Instagram, which is the Curious Band. Spotify is the Curious, right, guys? Facebook, Facebook, the Curious Band.
I mean, so if you do find one, everything is linked.
Yeah. So everything will be there.
Just the one. Everything else will come.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to play a track on the podcast. It's probably going to get recorded next Saturday, and I'm going to play it on Sunday. So what we'll do with this content, I'll slice it and dice it. Basically, we'll get the video content put up on the website, put the audio out on the podcast as well, and see how we go. So all the very best to you. Thanks so much for your time tonight. I'm sorry it's a bit late, but I'm organising these interviews with people and saying, are you free tomorrow night? And they're sort of saying, well, yeah, I've got nothing else to do. There's nothing going on. I'm not going out anywhere. So, but still, it's your time as well, basically. So, Sam, you want to get that middle row drunk? It looks pretty useful. That so.
Which one?
I'll just start on the row behind your head. It looks absolutely perfect to me, mate. You got a bottle of Gordon's there, some vodka, some sort of single malt or something like that.
You know what? I've been dying to try this Spice rum, but I haven't got any Coke to go with it.
Oh, you need something, man. That'll give you terrible guts if you drink that on its own. You don't want to be, mix it up with some cola or something. But
I can just smell it for the time being.
Get used to it. Never have a good smell. Gentlemen, thanks very much for your time. I'll let you know when it's live on the podcast, and I'll send you a link to the show and the timing of when you're on, and then you can listen to your heart's content. Feel free to share it on the socials. Do whatever you want with it, basically, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. Wicked.
All right. Thanks for your time, chaps.
Have a good one.
See you soon, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.